So, do you remember that time Disney built a billion-dollar Star Wars hotel, then closed it 16 months later? Yeah. So, what exactly happened? On paper, the concept of a fully immersive Star Wars adventure hotel seemed like a dream come true for both Star Wars and Disney fans alike, but yet it failed, and quickly. There is a lot to unpack with this thing. Let's take one more ride on the Galactic Starcruiser to determine what happened to this project and how it became one of Disney's most expensive failures. So during the 2010s, the theme park industry began pushing immersion to new extremes. The opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter fundamentally changed guests' expectations. Suddenly people didn't want rides themed to movies, they wanted to step inside the worlds themselves. Disney's answer was Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Instead of recreating famous film locations like Tatooine or Hoth, Disney built an entirely new planet called Batuu. Guests could explore a living Star Wars outpost where every building had a story, and every shop existed within the fiction of the universe. But Disney's Imagineers had a bigger idea. What if immersion didn't stop when guests left the park? What if the story continued overnight? Instead of a themed hotel that simply looked like Star Wars in aesthetic, Imagineers pitched a place where guests could become characters in their very own Star Wars adventure. The concept drew inspiration from immersive theater and live-action role-playing. Guests would travel in an imaginary starship. They would meet smugglers, First-Order officers, and resistance spies. They would choose sides, and the choices they made would influence how the story unfolded around them. It would be a fully immersive Star Wars LARPing adventure that Disney believed fans would pay almost anything to experience. Construction on the Galactic Starcruiser began quietly behind Hollywood studios. From the outside, the building looked surprisingly plain. This was intentional. The illusion would begin inside. Guests would arrive at what appeared to be a futuristic terminal before entering a launch pod that simulated traveling into orbit. The pod doors would open, revealing a gleaming starship interior, filled with curved hallways, glowing panels, and enormous digital windows looking out into space. Every detail was designed to reinforce the illusion that you had left Earth behind. Even the guest rooms followed this idea. Instead of traditional windows, each cabin featured a large digital viewport showing passing planets and starfields. The ship itself had a fictional backstory. The Halcyon was a luxury cruise liner traveling between planets in the Star Wars galaxy. Guests were passengers on a routine voyage. At least, that's how the story began. Over the course of 2 days, things would go very wrong, in true theme park fashion, of course. Resistance operatives would secretly recruit guests. First-Order officers would board the ship. Crew members would pull guests into hidden storylines unfolding throughout the vessel. Every guest would receive a datapad connected to Disney's Play app that functioned like a mission tracker. Tasks would appear on the device, guiding guests through the secret conversations, hidden rooms, and covert objectives. The experience culminated in a finale where all of the narrative threads came together in a massive confrontation. And because different guests made different choices, each voyage could unfold differently. It was an incredibly complex system, which meant the entire experience depended on something extremely difficult to scale: human performance. The Galactic Starcruiser was never designed to host thousands of people. In fact, capacity was surprisingly small, and because the experience lasted 2 nights, the number of guests cycling through the attraction each week was relatively limited. This was necessary for the storytelling. Characters needed to interact with people repeatedly across the adventure. But this also created a serious financial challenge. The experience had to be expensive, and it was. A 2-night voyage cost roughly $4,800 for 2 guests, with prices climbing above $6,000 for larger groups. A pricing structure that some would consider to be unnatural. This made Galactic Starcruiser one of the most expensive theme park experiences ever created. Disney believed the value would justify the price. After all, the costs included accommodations, food, entertainment, story events, and access to the Wizarding World of Star Wars. But the pricing also created a strange problem. For casual vacationers, the price was far too high. For die-hard Star Wars fans, they literally hate Disney and its handling of Star Wars. So yeah, they weren't paying for that. Which meant repeat visits were unlikely. And without repeat visitors, maintaining consistent occupancy became difficult. Pricing alone wasn't the big challenge. The real issue was something far more complicated. Most theme park experiences are simple to understand. You ride the attraction, you enjoy the theming, then you move on. Galactic Starcruiser required something very different: participation. Guests were expected to interact with characters, follow storylines, complete missions, and actively engage with the narrative. For some visitors, this was a dream, but for others, it was exhausting. Not everyone wanted to roleplay for 2 straight days. Just ask your wife. Some guests arrived expecting a luxury Star Wars hotel. Instead, they found a structured experience filled with scheduled activities. Others wanted deeper role-playing opportunities, but discovered the storylines could only branch so far before returning to the central plot. And you could probably understand balancing these expectations was incredibly difficult. Too much structure and the experience felt restrictive. Too little structure and the story would collapse. The Imagineers had essentially created a hybrid between a cruise ship, a theater production, and a video game. And while the concept fascinated theme park fans like me, it also confused the broader vacation market, which raised another issue: marketing. When Disney first revealed the Galactic Starcruiser, the marketing struggled to explain what the experience actually was. Early promotional videos looked awkward and overly staged. Some viewers compared them to cruise commercials. Others felt they looked like corporate training videos. The tone didn't match the cinematic excitement people expected from Star Wars. At the same time, Disney avoided clearly describing the mechanics of the experience. Was it a hotel? Was it a role-playing game? Was it an attraction? Why isn't there a Hogwarts hotel? Many potential guests simply didn't understand what they were being asked to buy. And when the price was revealed, confusion turned immediately into skepticism. The internet quickly filled with jokes about the cost. Memes spread across the galaxy. Suddenly, the narrative surrounding the Galactic Starcruiser had shifted from curiosity to criticism, which meant Disney's most ambitious immersive project was already fighting an uphill battle before it even opened. But hear me out. The experience itself was actually good. Like, very good. Once the first voyage began, reviews from guests were surprisingly positive. People who embraced the experience described it as extraordinary. And that was really because of the actors, who delivered impressive performances. But also, storylines felt dynamic, lightsaber training was thrilling, the climactic finale created genuine excitement. Many guests compared the experience to participating in a live Star Wars movie. For the people who loved it, Galactic Starcruiser was unforgettable. But there was a problem. The group of people who loved it was very small. On some planets, they are described as paid vloggers. But jokes aside though, I have to say, the experience was not poorly designed in any way, but it did demand a very specific type of guest. Allow me to explain using a Venn diagram. Galactic Starcruiser's main issue was that it required 1. A Star Wars fan, 2. A Star Wars fan that also liked Disney and was fine with their choices with the franchise, and 3. A Star Wars fan and Disney fan and person with, let's be honest, an upper class income. Not to mention the other things: someone excited about interactive storytelling, someone comfortable role-playing in front of strangers, which is frowned upon in some cultures. That is an incredibly narrow audience. Sure, Starcruiser would get its usual influx of vloggers praising every trash can and reviewing the toilet paper, and then quote-unquote Disney adults would do whatever they could to experience it. God bless them. But once that first wave of diehard fans visited, bookings began to decline pretty rapidly. Disney attempted discounts, travel agents tried to explain the experience more clearly, but the core challenge remained. But once you got there, the experience was great. However, the problem was getting people there in the first place. And eventually, Disney had to make a very difficult decision. When Disney announced the closure of Galactic Starcruiser in May of 2023, many fans were actually kind of shocked. How could a company known for world-class immersive design abandon something so ambitious? The answer lies in a simple reality. Galactic Starcruiser broke the economic rules of theme parks. Traditional attractions rely on scale. Thousands of guests experience the ride every hour. Hotels operate with hundreds or thousands of rooms. But Galactic Starcruiser was built like a theater production. Small audiences, highly trained performers, limited capacity, and extremely high operating costs. This meant Disney needed constant demand at a premium price. And naturally, that demand simply didn't exist. The common guest saw the prices and was like, "We so don't want to pay for that." Listen, even if every voyage sold out for years, the return on investment would have been questionable, with a very, very thin profit margin. The Starcruiser was essentially a boutique experience, but came with boutique prices on an already expensive Disney vacation. And it's not like we're all rich Naboo people, you know? And that combination is incredibly difficult to sustain. Boutique options can work in a theme park. Attractions like Discovery Cove at SeaWorld allow you to swim with dolphins, but the cost is far, far cheaper. And who the frick doesn't love dolphins, unless you're like some kind of psychopath or something? Discovery Cove offers a boutique experience, yes, but it offers an experience that many people want, and also costs much more to do in another location. Starcruiser offered a highly niche experience at a high price, and Disney paid the price for it. So here's the real question. Was Galactic Starcruiser truly a failure? I mean, financially, yes, like immediately. But creatively, I will praise it all day, every day. Because the experiment proved something very important. Guests are willing to engage with immersive storytelling at a level far deeper than they are often allowed. These ideas didn't die with Galactic Starcruiser. They are already appearing in smaller ways throughout modern theme parks. For instance, the interactive games and unlockable boss battle in Super Nintendo World. I think my biggest gripe with Galactic Starcruiser is that many of those elements were things that should have been part of Galaxy's Edge, which has been criticized for its lack of interactive experiences at the time of opening. It just felt Disney was putting its most creative storytelling behind a massive paywall. Honestly, I was picturing the other day a scenario where Disney built a traditional hotel, but stylized and themed it to Star Wars. Imagine the Star Wars version of Cabana Bay at Universal. The experiences from Starcruiser would be an optional upcharge, or God forbid, included with your stay. But at the same time, Starcruiser in many ways was a prototype. And prototypes push the theme park industry forward. But at the same time, prototypes are expensive, and sometimes they disappear before the world is ready for them. The Halcyon now sits quietly behind Hollywood studios, ironically turned into office space. A billion-dollar starship that sailed for just over a year. And a reminder that even the most ambitious ideas can struggle when imagination collides with economics. But if theme parks truly are evolving towards deeper storytelling and interactive worlds, then the Galactic Starcruiser might one day be remembered not as a failure, but as an important stepping stone in the greater story of theme park design. Did you experience Galactic Starcruiser? Let me know down below. And as always, remember rule number 5, relax and enjoy the ride. Thanks for watching.